Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be going over some COD 2024 map ideas. Now, I just want to be clear, this is absolute fan fiction. This is not based in any sort of lore or notes that might have been found or like intel that's in either Vanguard or Cold War. This is just my personal ideas and just going off of where we could go based on the ending cutscene from Forsaken. So let's jump into it. So at the end of Cold War, the missiles from Outbreak were sent into the Pacific Ocean. Where they land on the ocean's surface, we can see that Peck is trying to locate where that is, and I would be safe to assume that other parties are trying to locate this as well. Where they land on the ocean surface raises a chunk of the ocean floor up to the water's surface, so the missiles basically created a floating island similar to Subnautica. There are three parties heading towards this island. It is Peck with the interest of Omega Group, the arrested Requiem Group, the group that we saw at the end of Cold War getting arrested, so that's basically like the main characters that we played as in Cold War, and then the Richtofen Requiem Group. I'm going to call it the Richtofen Group for the simplicity of this. So, Peck is on this shady, like, tin can boat that we saw at the end of the Forsaken cutscene as an Omega agent. He's just on his own, going against the waves, all that stuff, in this kind of stormy ocean setting. The arrested Requiem Group, which I'm just going to call us for now, they are on a plane headed towards this island, and they are, again, flying into the storm. And then the Richtofen Group is on a large boat, maybe like an aircraft carrier or like some sort of large Titanic-esque vessel, I'm not really sure, but it's heading towards, again, the large dark ether energy source that is emitting from this island. So, in Black Ops Gulf War, I'm assuming that's what it's going to be, it's not confirmed yet, gameplay is going to be the biggest choice in the zombies mode. So, you basically are choosing between classic mode and modern mode, and classic mode is basically like World at War to Black Ops 3-esque gameplay, and then the modern mode is more that Cold War gameplay with the armor pickups and all that, blah blah blah. We really want to make the game a lot about player choice, and this is emphasized on picking your spawn room. Similar to how Rainbow Six Siege, you can kind of pick where you want to enter or infill. You can pick your spawn area in this map. So there are three spawn rooms. This can be the large boat that Richtofen's party landed on. This can be sort of on the tin can, like kind of rocky shores where Peck landed on the tin can boat. And then somewhere up in the air, you can actually kind of skydive into this sort of like tree house base camp kind of thing. And that is where the Requiem Group is. So the actual map takes place a little while after our initial opening cutscene, which is basically like the three parties racing to get to the island, and in the wake of that, small bases are set up around the map from the various groups. The map is split into thirds, and each of these thirds reflects the respective landing party. Richtofen's side is a bit more of that military base camp-esque. You also start out on that large boat I was talking about, so that is like their spawn room. The Requiem side has some like trapdoors, hidden areas, and like tree houses and sniper nests and all that. And it also has a wrecked World War II plane that they base out of, so that can be that spawn room. And then Peck's side is a bit more natural. It's just like one small campfire, and it's more like the actual way that the island was meant to be. That can be found. And you spawn in on the rocky shores, like right where Peck's boat like anchored, and you just climb up onto the rocks into this island. So Pack-a-Punch isn't unlocked, but rather discovered. There are notes and maybe through dialogue that there are underwater tunnels that you can free swim around, and it turns out you can actually free swim around the entire map. This is basically like a giant circle, so like imagine there's this one Black Ops 2 map, I forgot the name of it, I think it's called Cove or something, but it's an island, but it's surrounded by water, so imagine if you could actually swim around that water. So through careful player exploration, you're going to find these secret tunnels, and one of these secret tunnels is where Pack-a-Punch is. It's in this hidden underwater cave. So you're not buying things, you're not doing steps, you just have the knowledge of knowing where it is, and you can actually do this right off the rip. You can spawn in and immediately go to Pack-a-Punch. I think that'd be a really cool idea. We haven't really seen that a lot in Zombies other than like Moon, but Moon, it's like presented right there. And that's kind of what I want to drive a bit more of in Zombies, is more of that knowledge. Like, it's not just having enough points to do something, it's having the knowledge of doing something. And I really like that. It's based off of like Outer Wilds. You can tell I played Outer Wilds recently because I'm really into that sort of idea. So this Easter egg involves what is going on the island, and there is this reveal that there are 4 Ethereum shards throughout the world. And this is going to be like our MacGuffin chase for the entire game. One is purple, orange, green, and white, and these are all for Project Janus, which was slightly discovered and discussed at the end of Black Ops Cold War. The Ethereum shard on this map is the purple one, and it's guarded by an Ethereum worm similar to Modern Warfare Zombies that we saw at the stinger end of that trailer. This can be the Dark Aether Guardian or something like that. I'm not really sure on the boss names yet, but they each have their own little themes. When you beat this boss, just like in Shadows of Evil, Richtofen swoops in to steal the shard, and then that leads to the catalyst for the other maps. The death of this Ethereum worm is kind of like this big cry or roar that awakens the other 3 hidden in the world. The next large Dark Aether ping that our Requiem team picks up leads to Peru, and this is our DLC 1. We're in the Nazca Desert and Machu Picchu Mountains. Player choice is expanded upon by which region you want to start in. Think of this like a slightly larger, more expanded upon version of Ancient Evil. Like, imagine you could either spawn in the normal Ancient Evil area, or you could spawn in that underworld area of Ancient Evil. You teleport between the 2 areas, doing various gameplay things, and Pack-a-Punch is at the top of that iconic top of Machu Picchu Mountain. The Nazca starters will have a teleporter that leads right to that Pack-a-Punch, so there's no disadvantage of starting here. We don't want to make player choice be like, oh, well, obviously I'm going to start in Machu Picchu because of this. Like, what's the point of starting in the Nazca area? That sort of thing. We want to avoid that. The Machu Picchu ruins will be that map, similar to how Ancient Evil were around the Delphi ruins, and the Nazca area will be a bit more whimsical, consisting of smaller areas linked together by Wonder Spheres. Each of the smaller areas will feature a Nazca line formation, or maybe the Wonder Sphere connection areas. You will fly over a certain Nazca line, and that gives you a better idea of what they look like, similar to how you can be touring around them, flying around the air. Like, if you're going there in real life, you fly in this plane that flies over all of the lines. The Easter egg will be similar to Shangri-La in the Machu Picchu area, so playing with the temple theme, doing various things, and then the Nazca area will have like these sky puzzles, something like that. These are to summon the Plague Lord, which is guarding the green Ethereum stone. The boss fight will be about speed, killing the boss before it plagues every area. If every area is plagued, then it's a game over. You just have to kill it fast. You get the green crystal, but Richtofen was busy in Rome looking for that orange crystal. Rome is DLC 2, and this map is all about the Roman Empire, and I just remembered that goddamn TikTok trend. This map will be all about time travel, and certain parts of the map or certain rounds will phase you back in time to when Rome was at its peak of the Empire, conquering everything. Similar to how in D Machine you can go back and forth between the Dark Aether. This map layout will be a condensed version of the city, similar to Shadows of Evil, where at the end of every district is like a famous landmark. The Colosseum, the Forum, the Pantheon, and then I think the spawn area would be like the Trevi Fountain. I think that would be kind of cool. The Vatican could fit in there somewhere as well. Maybe it's like a 4th district type situation. And then the fast travel between these areas could be like the Roman aqueducts. It's just like giant water slides or something. I thought that'd be cool. The Easter egg, like I said, will be going back and forth between timelines to do various things, whatever. there can be lessons that you learn in the past about conquering things that could be used for the boss fight. This boss fight is versus the Conqueror, and you actually can't beat the boss. There is a win condition, like a game and the map ends and you get a you win screen, but the boss takes over Rome, like you don't successfully kill it. And then Rome needs to evacuate. So that will leave Richtofen's group a little busy, while in DLC 3, the Requiem group goes to the Library of Alexandria and meets the Enlightened. This is the keeper of the fourth white crystal that everyone is trying to get. I think a lot of this map, in my mind at least, will have inspiration from Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Great Library. The Enlightened one could also be a dark ether version of an owl. Something like that would be cool. This library is huge and has tons of exhibits. There's the planetarium, a burned down section of the library, and then like a menagerie area. Much of this map's Easter egg is not fighting the Enlightened, but actually doing it favors. It understands that you lost the fight against the Conqueror, and it knows how to defeat it. Through the knowledge you gain, you can actually do a rematch against the Conqueror as a boss fight. This time you succeed, and defeating the Conqueror and doing the Enlightened one favors, you get both the orange and white crystals. So now you actually have 3 in your possession. But one of your teammates was actually a spy for Richtofen and takes everything back to his lab, stating that Project Janus will proceed as intended. I think this could be a really good like mid-season or like pre-finale twist, and I thought this was the best place to fit that. DLC 4 is called Project Janus. This map is the finale to this first season of Gulf War Zombies, with Richtofen in possession all 4 Ethereum crystals. He uses them to create a gateway to somewhere. In this portal, you can faintly see the frozen forest where all the OG characters are gathered around the campfire, just like at the end of Tagged or Toten. Here, Samantha and Eddie are staring back at their trauma and saying they can fix everything. This is also the Great War map, and the Outbreak formula takes center stage. This is a massive map during the Great War, and you're constantly doing things, and it really truly feels like you're in a war. It's not shitty-ass Outbreak, where you're just kind of running around this empty map. There is constantly things going on, and it is amazing. The staffs are there, you have every single wonder weapon you can possibly think of, and you're fighting along all of the original crews as AI, depending on which section of the map you are in. There's going to be 3 main zones, so like think of like 3 different Outbreak zones. This is your Great War map. There are 3 main sections. There is the premise section, so all of the AI fighting along you is going to be the premise, and you're in the middle of that big desert area that we saw in Alpha Omega. The Ultimus area is a bit more dark E3 and has a bit more like crazy creatures and things like that. And then you have the Victus area, which is a little bit more calm. I think this could be the starting area, and it's a lot more like Dr. Monty's Perfect World. Like in it, you can see it like crumbling away almost as the Great War goes on. These 3 areas feature many objectives, like you can power up keepers, defending important areas, killing waves of Apothecon enemies, but for the Easter egg and boss fight, you end up putting Dr. Monty in the summoning key. So you have the Shadow Man and Monty in there, then you destroy the summoning key, allowing everyone to live happily ever after. This Project Janus also opens doors to other places and times, allowing this to explore unexplored areas of the Aether timeline, like various things like maybe what Mob of the Dead looks like, or what the Blood of the Dead visit looks like in the normal cycle. I think that could be kind of interesting. And it's also an excuse to relive old maps, and this could be the canonization of Zombies Chronicles 2. So I hope you guys enjoyed that really quick video. I just wanted to put my thoughts down on paper and just kind of think them out. I hope you guys like this, and it's just like a little interesting look. I don't expect any of this to become real. I just thought it'd be some cool little fan fiction, and again, this is not based on any sort of lore or intel or anything. This is just kind of like how I would imagine, or how in my imagination, the Cold War, or like I guess Gulf War Dark Ether storyline would continue. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and I will see you guys next time.